doing, bro?
Yo.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me, bro? Yeah, I can, bro. I'm already live, bro. Honestly, I'm just waiting for this joint to pop up, honestly. So I'm gonna disconnect the call here and see if I can see you on Zoom.
All right, send the password one more time. What just send?
It's 041020.
041. Just send 0.
Got you. I got you. I'll send it to you. All right, it's not. Let's get it going, y'all. These were greetings to you. Islam, Islam, Islam. Alrighty. Let's bring this thing on back. Alright. Bring it on this act. Get it going. Alright. So what I'll do here, beloveds, I'll actually it's pretty freaking awesome. That shower that's going on over here. You know, let's take this down, get a little telescopic feel real quick, so y'all can see how this goes. All right. All right. So we got a little shower going on there near Mars. Looky, Astro Cookies. Whoa. Why did I do that? Yeah, there you go. Who said to move? Look at that shower there, guys. All right. Here's a lot. So, shower. Right. Here you guys a quick look at what's going on. Just want you to take a little look. There's a shower going on out there near Mars, y'all. Looky, Astro Cookie. Let's zoom in. Oh, that's happening right above Cetus the whale. In Pisces. Hey, that's some Piscean asterisks, right? Hey, Uranus. I see you're kicking it there. Can we zoom in here? We should be able to zoom in on that. Hey, looky. What's going on out there? Right? Oh, yeah, moon, right? Let's zoom in on the moon. Hey, moon. All right. Pretty cool, right? But what's really up, though? What's really up with this right here? Whoa. Right? Pretty awesome shower going on out there. Right? Hey, Mars, what a dooski. I know a lot of people are trying to come out there to you right now because of this planetary alignment. And then there's a shower all shooting off out there in the Pisces constellation while you're retrograde. Look at that. Must mean there's about to be some active things in the spirit going on, but right here on the planet. You know, when these planets appear retrograde to us here on Earth, that's when they're the closest to us, actually. Pretty awesome. All right. Let's come on out of here. All right, let's get rid of that. Come on back here. All right. Hey, y'all. All righty. This is awesome. All right, y'all. Peaceful greetings to you. All right, come on, feed. Catch up. It's a lot going on, I know, right? Now let's see how it's catching up for us. I had a few things going on in my background, I know. But we good, though. We good. So here we are, y'all. Alrighty, so I'm going to take a little peek at some astrology here, go over a few things, list a few things, share a couple of pieces of documentation with you also, so that you all will definitely, just kind of have a further perspective, so to speak, when it comes to astrology, right? And be able to just look at these things and see how they go, all right? So even with that being said, correct, I'm just gonna be going over some things. So I'm not gonna be verbose. Let's just get on to it. All right. Let's just get to it and enjoy some astrology. First, I'm gonna bring up Astro Gold. So let me just share the content here again. All right. From 7hillstar.com. All rights reserved. Let's put that back there. Now let's kind of go here to Astro Gold. Let me just make it a recent thing here. Boom. All righty. So we got the ascendant at 18 degrees Gemini, 57 minutes. All righty. And we have the moon, right? With the moon is at 29 degrees Pisces, on its way to being full. Alrighty, it won't necessarily be full till about 9 degrees. Alrighty, let's show when it's going to actually be full. Let's go here to the ephemeris. All right, and just to show you very briefly, right, let's scroll down here, 2020 ephemeris. We're here at September 30th. If you look at the bottom of the area, right just above where it says planetary data, you'll see 01TH for Thursday. That's October 1st on Thursday. And above that, it says 30 WE for the 30th of September 2020. That's Wednesday, right? And when you see at midnight, right, for the first, at midnight, the moon will be at 0 degrees Aries, 36 minutes and 32 seconds. All righty, that's where the moon will be. All righty, now if I just scroll down a little, right? And let's actually save this, right? Let's save this, guys. What do I need to save it? All right, so let's add this to the photos, all right? And let's go to photos, right? And bring this up so we can kind of break it down a little bit, right? Because I want to actually show you guys some things here. All righty, so let me actually, let's edit, right? Now let's mark this up. Let's just mark it up and have a little fun with how we're looking at this ephemeris real quick, all right? So we want to see when there's going to be a full moon, right? Now, I'm going to just be honest with you. There is no blue moon. And even when I check a Titi calendar, it shows that there was a full moon in Kumbh, which is Aquarius, on the 1st of September, and a full moon will be happening in Kumbh again on the 30th, which is now. And I'm going to show you what I mean here when I'm talking about Kumbh. Actually, let's cancel this real quick. Let's go to here, right? And for those that don't know Vedic astrology, and for those that do, I'm pointing out under Tuesday, you see where it says TUE, the 01 to the left, corresponding to the number 13 on the right. That's September 1st. Purnima is the new moon. Well, actually, Amavasya is new moon. Purnima is full moon, right? So Purnima is full moon. And it says it's happening during Pratipata, right? So this is the Krishna Paksha Pratipata. All right, so it's the first set of 12 degrees that the moon travels after the full moon. So the first 12 degrees after Purnima is known as the Krishna Paksha Pratipata. And it's saying that it took place in Kumbha, right? Kumbha is Aquarius. So if Chandra or Soma is not at Purnima in Kumbha, which actually it is on the 1st, but not on the 30th there. See, we're under the Wednesday, WED, for the 30th, September 30th, 2020. And it says Chaturdashi, right? So Chaturdashi is the 14th and the last, right, of the Tithis. A Tithi, Tithi, is a set of 12-degree transit pertaining to the moon. Everybody was born during a certain Tithi, according to Vedic or Jyotisha astrology. When you're checking out the Bachakra, Bachakra is another Hindi, for lack of better terms, Hindi, or even rooted in Sanskrit, Samskrita. You know, when it comes to the Tithi is showing you the amount of degrees that the moon has traveled, but it's a set of 12. Each Tithi is 12 degrees. So the last 12 degrees, which is the 14th set, is called Chaturdashi. So Chatur deals with 14, just like Trayod is 13, Dwad is 12, you know, and so forth. Purnima, and as you can see, Purnima, which is still continuing, it's saying, so it's got to be something exact, you know, but it's still, you know, it's saying that Purnima isn't actually taking place until 7:05 on the 1st. So Purnima is full moon. So Chaturdashi is really what's actually continuing until, you know, from what I see. It just looks like Chaturdashi is on the 13th from 2:56 p.m. until 5:05 p.m. already on the 1st. So this is evidence that this is not exactly a blue moon. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been probably doing your blue moon affirmations and all these different things. However, this is just, you know, I do a lot of research. I know we come into, you know, more science, come into the truth pertaining to cosmology and astrology. And a lot of times we'll bandwagon certain things that are posted online without doing any research because it feels good to, you know, just fly or float with the positive energy of a post within a social media platform. So with that being said, I just think it would be best for us to be wise in how we go about really thinking we're doing celestial vibration affirmations and rituals and things of that nature. It would probably behoove us to really pay attention to real astronomy and astrology and really get into the cosmology pertaining to your Bibles, your Bhagavad Gitas, your Qurans, your I Chings. I mean, whatever you can get your hands on, but because what you'll really realize, like even for example, like if you guys have ever heard of a fast called Ekadashi, the Ekadashi fast, right? Okay, so Ekadashi just took place on the 27th, right? And the moon was transiting Makara. Makara is so Sidereal Makara. Makara is Capricorn, all right? So during the Ekadashi, Ekadashi is the 11th Tithi in that's the 11th set of 12 degrees that the moon has transited after Amavasya. Okay, as you guys can see, Amavasya was on the 16th here. All right. Pardon me, the 17th. My apologies. Amavasya was the 17th. That's new moon. So you see, Amavasya was at 700. All righty. So it was at 7 o'clock a.m. 7 o'clock anti-meridian, so to speak. However, I'm going to, even though I usually have it set for near the Baltimore Corporation to how to read what I want to read the times from, because I observe a Kadashi fast, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you what I learned in studying Vedic astrology and getting into the Brihapata, or a Shastra. Yeah. I think I'm saying it. It's so funny how it's just slipping me, but it's Briya Parashastra or a Shastra. I think I'm saying it like that. BPHS. All right. So in reading the BPHS, and the Sanskrit is just kind of evading me right now, but I know it's Briya Parashastra or a Shastra, something like that. All righty. So when reading up on Ekadashi, this is what takes place. What you learn in that particular Hindu, was called Hindu religion, right? What I learned was there's a story. Lord Vishnu, right, as it's termed, Lord Vishnu, or Vishnu, some people will say. Long story short, he has this guy that's supposed to torture souls that don't follow the rules. So he leaves this being that's supposed to torture the soul with this guy, all righty, who's basically like the second in charge under Vishnu or whatever, just for this story's sake. All right, so I can get to the point. All right, so Vishnu's like, hey man, you're gonna have this job to look over this cat that I made to torture souls that don't follow the rules. So some time goes by. Vishnu goes to visit this cat that he leaves in charge over this other cat that's, been charged with torturing souls that don't follow the rules, right? So long story short, Vishnu, when he comes to visit, he's like, yo, what is all that screaming, man? Like, what's really going on? Let me, as I'm telling you guys this story, let me have you see me real quick. All right. For the few of you that are here. All right. And so as he's coming to visit, right? So he comes to visit this guy, right? And he's like, bro, what is all that screaming? Where is it? Have you like into that? What's going on? He like, basically, yo, you had me look over the torture souls that don't follow the rules. He like, yo, that's gotta stop. He like, stop what? You know what I mean? How are we gonna stop? Because if we stop, you already know that my man that's been torturing souls that you made, you're gonna have to basically pay for that. Because there's another cat that'll make sure you'll go down for real, right? So as the story goes on, while people observe Ekadashi fast, the reason what the Ekadashi fast is, they're abstaining from grain. They're fasting from taking in any rice or any other grain, so to speak. But I know rice was a big one to a lot, right? So in this story, and why some people may look at certain people that practice what they call the Hindu religion, right? And they're like, oh man, they be having this fast, the 11th set of 12 degrees after the new moon and the 11th set of 12 degrees after the full moon. Why do they do that? Well, I'm telling you the story why. The reason why that is because, when Vishnu went to go relieve this dude of torturing souls, right? He said, yo, you good. But yo was like, yo, on the 11th set of 12 degrees after the full moon, after the new moon and the full moon, new moon, Amavasya, full moon, Purnima, after, during those times, you're going to come after me to do me in. So Vishnu was like, all right, this what you do. During those titis, during Ekadashi titi, so that you ain't got to go down for something I basically said for you to do. You see what I'm saying? So you ain't got to suffer that consequence. Hide in the grain. That's literally the story, y'all. Right? So that's why a lot of people don't eat the grain during a Kaddishi fast. Now, let me tell you what I did when I experimented with that theory, because that, as some of us credit that small, still voice, those of us that have higher degrees, the voice pertaining to Aradia. For those of us that have maybe even more clear degrees ascending, you know, with that and even further, you know, you're just speaking to your higher self. All righty. And higher self was like, it's scientific, son. It has nothing to do with a dogma belief system. It has all to do, and I'm not making any negative assertions about Hinduism at all. It's very beautiful because of the way that I analyze literature. All righty. And by the way, guys, peace and greetings. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey, here in Morocco in northwest of Maxim. How are ya? All right. Let me continue, right? So he's done this, you know, I've done this fast because, you know, I'm hearing that higher self voice go, my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. This is scientific why this is occurring. And I'm like, really? So further as I'm analyzing the thought as I had it, I'm like, okay, I think I get it. This was what I came up with. All right, y'all listening? All right, check it out. The moon, right? The moon controls the water. Let's keep it simple, right? Grain absorbs water. I'm even having more unvelation as I'm telling y'all. This is bananas what I'm about to say, because I wasn't going to say this part after this part right here. So I'm thinking like, all right, so there's a swelling that occurs within us. Now, because the story is anthropomorphically told to get children to respect the science behind not eating grain during the 11th set pertaining to 12-degree transit pertaining to the moon in the sky after the new and full moon, right? During those two 11th sets of 12 degrees. Because what is actually happening, there's something happening with the moon, our bodies, and that grain, that what actually occurs is disagreement. Not because rice is evil, we're evil, or the moon is evil. There is a chemical reaction that occurs that disagreements will happen. So that story was told in a way to make people abstain from eating grain that wouldn't understand the scientific necessity to do so that it helps to create unified energy on the planet. Period. That's why the Ekadashi fast is observed for the scientific portion, that when you partake in grain, that's why really during the Ekadashi fast, that's the best time to eat fruits and vegetables. Just for that time that the moon is transiting those 12 degrees, which normally a day it's 12 degrees is less than a day. It's less than 24 hours, respectfully, you know, because usually the moon will transit during roughly a 24-hour, maybe about 24 hours. Well, the sun moves 1 degree every 24 hours, 16 minutes and 12 seconds. The moon moves 13 degrees in that time, roughly. All righty. So with that being said, the Ekadashi fast will be less than a day, but you're only fasting from grain. You can drink water. You got, you know, me, I do my best to be careful with what grain I intake. You know what I mean? So people think, oh, wheat is a grain, corn is a grain, whatever the case may be. Well, I would say just practice with rice. Try your best not to eat rice and corn during the Ekadashi fast. right? And the website that I got that from, I'll show you. Really, this is what you can do. Type in Tithi calculator, Tithi calculator, right? And, you know, for those of you that are actually a part of the Astrology 101 Workshop 2020, and you have some things, you know, you join on and you're a student, you have access to the library, and the library has those Vedic astrology books that I'm quoting. Alrighty, you have access to them all day, every day, right? So that's really how that goes. So with that even being said, I see I'm getting a call. People must see I'm live and they're calling me. Like this is amazing. But I'm not going to answer the phone. Alrighty. But you want to get in on the chat, just, you know, chat. And you want to come in on Zoom, we can come in on Zoom. Make it good though. You know, not make it crazy. However, with that being said, because now look at the time too. It's 10:35 at night. You know what I mean? Who sent you? But it's all good. I trust it's a sincere call. I hope nobody's, you know, dealing with anything that's crazy right now. You know what I'm saying? However, if the call comes in again, I'm just going to answer the call, honestly, and see how this goes. But anywho, in continuing, right? The Ekadashi fast. In observing the Ekadashi fast, right? Scientifically speaking, what it is that I'm actually speaking on is, pardon me, y'all, is the fact that there could, you know, be a sense of maybe like having to deal with you know, different things of hey, brother Siraj, peaceful greetings to you. Where can I get that groovy top you're wearing? Bro, this was what I wore during my solar return this year. But it's a few places here, people from Nepal, as they call it, that jurisdiction, and the other corporate jurisdiction that's called Bangladesh. Alrighty. There's a lot of stores near the downtown Baltimore Corporation, as it's termed in the quasi-national jurisdiction, that, you know, have these certain threads. But this was a small gift. You know, I don't pop tags often because I'm not focused on that. You know, very prudent with my finances, to say the least, to make sure there's necessities to it. But today is Ilawa Raphael, so wanted to wear something that was purplish. You know, peace and greetings, brother Ara. How are you, beloved brother? So with that being said, the Ekadashi fast, right? Not eating the grain, because there's a possibility you could have some evil that occurs between you and others. Now, when you do fast from the grain during that time, there is a great reward when you're sincerely observing it and not observing it just to get the reward that comes. When you observe the Ekadashi fast, really pay attention to the Tithi calendar and really get into, and this is because I enjoy Vedic astrology. I enjoy all types of cosmological science because at the end of the day, I know it's all one, and I do not allow myself at all to, you know, be drawn into looking at things in a way. I'm gonna sit back and chill real quick. Be drawn into things in a way that it's like I don't allow myself to be dogmatized and deicated, so to speak. I allow myself to make my own observations and get my own experience, and I allow no one to put their thinking or spirit on me. You know what I mean? So I trust my own thinking, allow no one to put their spirit on me. So it's important to observe the Ekadashi fast is my point. Alrighty, I'm going to continue to go in on a few things. So I said it's going to be kind of like a live weather report. I've been kind of just, you know, observing and studying all day because, and even, you know, my patrilineal grandmother visited me today. I thought that was so interesting. I called her to check on her. She's like, I was in the neighborhood earlier. I'm about to come back through. Let me come holler at your grandson. I'm like, wow. Like, Grandma, I want to go live with you on Zoom. She's like, no, I'll be on Zoom on Sundays when I be teaching my classes. She just, got baptized in the Jehovah's Witness faith, and me knowing better and being tolerant pertaining to anyone's spiritual exercise choice, because this is America, right? She has religious freedom. However, she is the woman that gifted me my first fez. This is the first fez I've ever had. I know you guys seen this before, you've heard the story or whatever, you've seen me present it or whatever. However, she'll come back maybe a Friday or Saturday, and I'm just going to go live with my patrilineal grandmother. And I'm going to have her tell you the things from the time I told about 5.5, maybe 6 years ago. Called her, hey, Grandma, I think I'm supposed to be the family's historian and lawyer. I really do. I think I'm supposed to be the family's historian and lawyer. And, she came over today and she was telling me some things that she was going through as far as medically. And, I asked her for her natal date, location, to be sure. Again, she wasn't sure at the time, but she told me around the time. And again, that higher self and what we call psychic abilities, but I call it being normal. However, I'm realizing it's just not, popular or normal out there amongst a few people, but it's okay. It's all right. Anyway, however, I'm looking into her chart. I'm looking into my grandmother's chart as she's sitting here today. And she was telling me what the people had diagnosed, whatever name they gave for whatever they were talking about, and giving her MRI scans and all these different things or whatever, right? And as I'm looking at, her chart, after rectifying it, I had to do a time rectification. I asked her a few questions, but I think the first time that I put in it was spot on, because the questions that I asked were, when I was saying what age something happened, she was like, oh yeah, well, boom, 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 boom. I was like, whoa, Grandma. Are you sure this is on point? She's like, yeah, Grandma. I'm like, whoa. All right. So when she told me what it was, and that's why, I had my baby. I was like, baby, take a picture real quick of me reading this book real quick and this tablet, because I'm looking at multiple things. And I wanted to study Hygeia, Hygeia. It's an asteroid that's considered in Uranian astrology. Mostly I see so far the people that subscribe to what's denoted, maybe it's a denotation, maybe. But, it's recognized or commonly practiced being called, so let's call it connotatively speaking, Uranian astrology, right? It's beautiful in my observation, even to the techniques and what they use. However, a lot of times the asteroids are considered. Hygeia is it's the snakes going up the staff. I'll show you what Hygeia. Let me show you Hygeia. This is what Hygeia looks like. Right now, I think Hygeia is transiting Leo, right? And this is, like I told y'all, I was going to have a medical astrology live, right? I told you guys. So I'm going to go over some things. All right, let's refresh this, bring it up to speed, bring it up to time. All right, we're at 25 degrees, Gemini, 39 minutes. Right, and Hygeia is transiting the second house, right? And I'm sitting here talking about it. I'm going to tell you the values about it, right? 5 degrees Leo, 13 minutes, right here, guys. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Hygeia, see how it looks like two snakes going up a staff there? You guys see that kind of in the 9, 8, 7 o'clock region, 8 o'clock region, right? It's at 5 degrees Leo, 13 minutes. That's Hygeia. Hygeia deals with preventative medicine, right? For me, Hygeia is in the 8th house in Aquarius. So I'm a medical astrologer by inheritance. Not because I just thought it was cool to get online and share some things. One brother, I was on a phone call and he was like, yo, your views is really low, man. But I be telling my brothers, yo, you be really telling the truth and all this, yo. And you can't expect somebody. I find myself saying this often. I really don't look at it like, oh, how many views that I have and stuff like that. I'm looking at, okay, how many people decided to come to hear the truth about their nationality and birthrights? That's good. Whatever that number is, that's great. I'm not really concerned about that. What it is that I'm more concerned about is, do the people get that high Gaia right now is transiting Leo? So there's preventative heart maintenance that should be going on, right? It's at 5 degrees, right? Leo. So that's between 5 and 6, right? So, I can go here. I know I have my my encyclopedia of medical astrology queued. However, let me just go back and let's go here to the Encyclopedia of Astrology by Nicholas DeVore, right? And let's just look at the degree section just real quick, right? Let's just look at the degree section, right? For 5 degrees Leo, all righty? So I'm going to take this to Leo, all righty? So if you just look, right, 6 degrees is sight, all righty? Sight. All right, so preventative maintenance for sight is definitely what high Gaia is kind of leaning towards, but it's in between that and 5 degrees is homicide and aviation accidents. So a lot of people may be thinking about preventive maintenance techniques for flying. A lot of people may be thinking of preventative maintenance techniques dealing with people wanting to take other people's lives, maybe human rights violations. Also, because a lot of times when we see homicide, a lot of times people may think a sentient being taking the life of another sentient being. Homicide internally is, cutting away those ungainly parts within us. You go and check your chapter 5 in the Cycle 7 Holy Quran, Cycle 7 Holy Quran, right? You can, check the workshop of the mind, chapter 5. It's dealing with the workshop of the mind. You cut away those ungainly parts, right? So some people are like, oh, that's suicide. Not really, because the homie is a prefix for same, right? So instead of su, because su is, you already know, like su juris. So suicide would be wanting their own, doing their own, killing. But it's more of a battle within of, multiple consciousness energies. So what has been personified in your Bibles and your holy books are consciousnesses, right? So if inside you're dealing with flight within, so that's an aviation, analogy, so to speak, within yourself. All righty. So you're flying high within yourself. Some may think, you may not want to, fly too high because you may have an accident, or fly unprepared. In other words, the flying would be, if you talk about aviation and flying, that means you're traveling somewhere foreign. So foreign would deal with ninth house things. Ninth house or Sagittarius energy is 5th from the 5th sign, which is Leo. So 5th from the 5th, some could also be thinking about preventative maintenance for, flying with children physically, or preventative maintenance with actually education, erudition, online things too, because that's another way to fly on a super information highway. You know what I mean? So, and to make it so-called homicidal, so to speak, basically helping people to prevent or helping people to kill things that could create accidents, right? So it could be looked at like that. That's all I'm saying, right? So that, hey, 6 degrees, Leo, we can have this sight, that needs, for things that, need to be what they need to be, right? So in continuing, right? Let's go back here, right? So it's in the 2nd house. The 2nd house is ruled by Cancer. Let's refresh again. At 17 degrees. 38 minutes. It's being ruled by, Cancer is being ruled by the moon there in the 10th house, now at 0 degrees Aries, 1 minute. You guys see it at about 12 o'clock. 12, if this was about 12 o'clock, if you were to put a number up here, let me zoom in, right? And bring it down so y'all can see it. See that moon symbol right there at the top middle? 0 degrees Aries, 1 minute, just about 6 degrees, 5 minutes from Chiron there. So, you know, mothers may be, you know, dealing with some type, maybe helping people with an unhealable injury, dealing with their head, dealing with, you know, an unhealable injury, dealing with the head of their career, their managers, bosses, things like that. People that are entrepreneurs could be dealing with some unhealable injury within themselves by helping others with that same wound, right? And nurturing that and being able to cater to that so that there can be some type of stimulating effect, you know, within the mind. You know, it also deals with womb health too, because the moon, you know, in the sign of Aries would also kind of speak to, you know, possibly some mothers may be dealing, I'm not saying pain with the womb, but sometimes Aries, the symbol Aries looks like a woman's reproductive system. All right, now we know that the womb is Cancer, right? Dealing with the womb and the breast, right? And the stomach. However, Aries, I'm just saying with the moon in Aries, it just also gives off this, I can do it all by myself, independence kind of thing. So when I'm looking at that and mothers dealing with, you know, children or whatever, this would be probably the so-called single mothers, I'm independent kind of energy, and people may be giving off that bravado just so that they can build self-esteem within their own status and amongst their friends. Because soon, you know, and because those things are really close to coming out of the 11th house. However, they'll be transiting the 10th house for about another hour and some change. Because in the Placidus house system, which is the house system that I'm using here in the Placidus house system, you will clearly see that each planet or point spends at least 2 hours in a sign. Alrighty, so let's get back here. Full moon. When's the full moon, guys? Right? Let's go down to September, right? And this is what I said I was going to use, right? So let's go back to the photos, right? And let's kind of do some marking up here. Let's go to edit, right? All right, and let's mark this up, all right? So what I want to kind of show you, right, in marking up the ephemeris, so that you guys can kind of tell when is what, right? So let me take this highlighter. I like green, right? All right, so guys, look, this is where we are now. What time do we have, right? Let's see, what time do we have? Really quickly. All right, it's 22:53 right now, right? Right now it's 22:53. All right, and of course I could have double checked that here. Let's double check one more time. Let's refresh that. Yep, refresh it in 22:53 and 29 seconds, 22:53 and 32 seconds, 22:53 and 34 seconds, 22:53 and 36 seconds. Right. All right, so that's what time it is, 22:53. Right. So let's go back here to photos, right? And let's highlight this, guys. Look at that, right? Right in that area, right? So let's hit the back, all right? Zoom in, right? Right here, guys, is what I'm looking at. This is where we are. This is the 30th, right? The 30th. Let me see if I can make that a little better. Oh, no. The 30th. That's where we are, right? Wednesday, all right? So with that being said, guys, I'm going to point out how this kind of works. Look, let's bring this down, all right? So look right here. This is the moon column, right? The moon And this is a midnight ephemeris, all right? You guys can see. See, it says tropical midnight ephemeris, all right? See that? Tropical midnight ephemeris. All right, so when you look right here, right? When you look, you can clearly see that the moon moves so fast that it's calculated for where it is at midnight. So this is the midnight one. This is the noon one, right? So midnight, noon. All right. So when you come down here, right, and you're looking for what's just coming up, right? We see at midnight that the moon is going to be at midnight. The moon is going to be at 0 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 32 seconds. All righty. That's where the moon is going to be at midnight, according to Eastern Standard Time, right? Generally speaking, right? Now, at noon, the moon is going to be at 6 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 13 seconds. All righty. So you're seeing how fast the moon moves in 12 hours. It looks like the moon has moved in 12 hours, 6 degrees, right? Pardon me. Let me make sure I do this right. It's moved 5 degrees, 29 minutes in 12 hours. From midnight to noon, it has moved 5 degrees and 29 minutes. All righty. I'm sorry, 19 minutes. 5 degrees, 19 minutes. I stand corrected. 5 degrees, 19 minutes. The moon has moved in those 12 hours. Right? And that's tomorrow. It's on the 1st, right? So also we see what's happening, right? Check this out. Mars, right, went retrograde on the 9th. Jupiter is direct. Yay, Jupiter, go! Jupiter went station direct on the 12th. Saturn went station direct yesterday, right? Went station direct yesterday at 1:11 anti-meridian Eastern, 0111 minutes after, right? The moon, let me take that back. The moon just entered Aries, right? At 10:48, guys, at 10:48, right? 10:48 was just 9 minutes ago, right? Let me keep refreshing this so I can get it to 22:58. There we go, 22:58. Kept refreshing it. That's what time it is now. Near the Baltimore Corporation. All right. So looky. That's what it is. So now I'm just going back, right, to check things out even further. So that's when the moon entered Aries 10 minutes ago, right? So the moon, right, was void of course, guys. Look. The moon was void of course from 13:30 p.m., right, until just about 10 minutes ago. Oh, pardon me, wrong color. You want to green lightning, go. All right, boom, shakalaka. And when it made its void, which means it's not the last aspect that it made before not aspecting any other, planet or point according to Ptolemaic aspects, right? It made its last aspect sextile to Saturn, moon sextile Saturn, right? Which basically means there's an opportunity for mother and father to grow, mother and son to grow. home and office to grow. is a home and office opportunity. You know what I mean? Home office opportunity. That's how I'll just boil it down. Moon sextile Saturn, home office opportunities. All righty. That's how that looks. All right. So to continue, now the moon has entered Aries, right? After spending about 9 hours and 18 minutes void of course, right? And usually when the moon is void of course, it is termed in certain astrological and some astrological circles, moon void of course is buyer's remorse. So that's why when I do weather reports, you guys will hear me say, and make your transactions prior to 1:30 post meridian on the 30th, for the moon does not take its 9 hour and 18 minute void of course, then that's why I do that, guys. So that you'll begin to really maybe start getting into the astrology when you see, hey, I'm glad I didn't make that, you know, major purchase, quote unquote, during that time because I may be regretting it. All right. So that's how that goes. Right. So that even being said, yeah, guys, I just, you know, wanted to show you how I kind of look at these things. I wanted to go a little bit more in depth on this weather report thing. And I'm going to, you know, fix the title of the live and, you know, do some work so, you know, people on, you know, the Instagrams can, you know, see this and get this, you know what I mean? Just so that everybody can, you know, enjoy it. So, you know, with that even being said, guys, I'm about to actually yield the floor. I just kind of wanted to go over these things, just, you know, so you can kind of see this, right? But I'm going to continue on the last couple of things before I go, because I did say I'm going to get into the medical astrology book real quick, and I still see it's like 3 of you guys hanging on. All right, so let's do it. All right, so the full moon is until the 1st, guys. Look right here, lunar phase. All right, full moon, lunar phase, right here. Perdónenme. 6 minutes after 1700 tomorrow. The moon will be at 9 degrees. Aries, 8 minutes. Wow, looky. At noon, I'm sorry, at midnight, just in about an hour or so, the moon is going to be at 0 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 32 seconds. At noon, the moon is going to be at 6 degrees Aries, 6 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 13 seconds. All right. So let's start over. At midnight, just coming up, the moon is going to be at 0 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 32 seconds. Then at noon, the moon is going to be at 6 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 13 seconds. All right. And like I said, guys, I'm going to wrap up probably in the next 2-3 minutes. Just want to show y'all. Now look at 5:06 p.m. Just 5 hours and 6 minutes after 12 noon. The moon will be full at 9 degrees Aries, 8 minutes. That's right here. All right. You guys see that, right? One more time. Let's erase. Let's get the highlighter one more time. At midnight, the moon will be here. 0 degrees Aries, 36 minutes. I'm sorry, 0 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 32 seconds. At noon, the moon is going to be at 6 degrees Aries, 36 minutes, 13 seconds. Right? And at 5 hours and 6 minutes after 12 noon, the moon is going to be at 9 degrees Aries. Right? So, this is rather interesting. Let's see. Bringing Brother Terrell Tamari Day. It's so funny. I told him too. I was about to wrap up. But he's coming in. This is awesome. So let's see. Where is bro? Let me know when you're in here, bro, because I was nearing the end. But I do want you to share your presentation. You know, I didn't even bring it up. I was going to straight be doing just the medical AstroWeather report. But are you there, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, my shit. Please, bro, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound like digital water, bro. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, wow. You going in and out. Bear with me. Fuck, bro.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, well, you know we're live, bro. Well, I'm gonna continue. I just let me know when you get it there, bro. If you can come in, if you can hear it or whatever. But like I was saying, guys, yeah. What'd you say, brother Tara? All right, guys.
I'm about to put it in on the phone.
Oh, that's kind of well. I don't know why it's not coming through, bro. But I'm maybe we can get it adjusted. Let me just wrap up and then I'll segue to you for a bit. So with the moon being full at 9 degrees Aries 8 minutes, guys, it's not really a blue moon situation, guys. That's really was my point with that. Not to knock it, just so that we're aware, guys. I'm not a rain on your parade kind of guy, right? But like I said, I'm going to get close to wrapping up, but I do want brother Terrell Samari Bay to kind of go in on a couple of things, maybe. And as far as something he brought to my attention, as well also, want to just go here, guys, real quick. Instead of keep bringing up the Astro Bowl, right? Stop the broadcast, right? And come on back. See you guys. There he is. Hey. All right. And let's screen share here real briefly. And we're gonna go in, right? I can see if I don't have the sound going too well with Brother Terrell. Brother Terrell, I really trust your sound will come through. So you can make your points on the charts that you have brought up, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share now, right? And in doing the screen share, you guys can see I have the astro clock actually moving right now. All righty. You guys already know you can get your astrology charts done, guys. All righty. Head up invoking publications is customizing your charts. There are people out there that do have customized charts. I'm going to be kind of running a special in a couple of weeks on that. All righty, and get a lot of people the opportunity that have already gotten mirror charts done by me already, an opportunity to kind of get their hands on a retrospective gift from me, provided instructions are followed in the email. However, look at Cancer on the rise. Cancer ascending right now, guys, at 2307, right? You guys see the mouse there. That's where it is, 2307. Looky, Astro Cookie. How about this? All right. So, of course, we see, so funny. Brother Jag, do you see that Gemini is intercepted right now? Yes or no? Brother Terrell? Islam, beloved brother.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, bro? Am I still water?
Yo, you're hilarious. Yes, bro. I can hear you, but it is sounding like digital water. It's like, man, you hear me, bro. It kind of sounds like that. You know what we might have to do, bro? I think me and you, we're going to record our video in a private Zoom meeting. And what I'll do is I'll post it to YouTube. All right. Because I don't know why the live portion isn't working. That doesn't make sense to me. because I want to be able to hear you so you can present. You know what I'm saying? Goodness gracious, maybe we can tell the people what's going to be presented, and you know, especially with the 11th house there on Aries, right? Got you. You want to go from the phone? Can you go from the phone then? Or that was difficult to go from the phone? If not, like I said, we can go in on and it might be the computer, beloved. I get that when you're dealing with processing and streaming. So you know, if you can do it from your phone, that'll be great. But we'll see. If not, bro, I'll holler at you and we can come back and do this tomorrow. You know, and I'll put it up there or whatever. But guys, before I wrap on up, see what Brother Terrell comes up with before we close out. And if he comes up with something, guys, and things are clearer, then I'll have him present briefly what he wanted to show me, because we were supposed to present this yesterday and much earlier, and even earlier today too. But you know how life happens, and we got things going on, right? However, guys, Adam Invoking Publications is customizing your charts, right? Give you guys a chance that have already gotten those things done and kind of get a retrospective gift. Those of you that haven't gotten your mirror sessions done, mirror anyone? All right, you can email me at hgbay@sevenhillstar.com or 7hillstar@gmail.com, right? Who am I missing here? Oh, looky, Stern Ma'at Bay. Islam Wars. All righty, Stern. I'm so sorry. I'm so slacking on that Islam. That's my sign. Which sign? Oh, I don't even know if Stern Ma'at Bay is still in here. Mother Stargate L, peaceful greetings to you as well, Islam. Sorry guys, you know, when I be in my zone and I be like doing, you know, sharing the information, I do my best to produce and share the information and give my report, delineate and respond to you guys too. I knew my brother's been trying to, you know, going into the, you know, the Zoom and things of that nature. But thank you guys for really showing up and showing out. And I hope if Ma'at is still here, starting Ma'at Day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It totally is what it is, guys. You know? So even with that being said, thank you for showing up and spending this evening with me to go over this brief report. I really do see that the people are really starting out how they feel right now and bringing to the forefront what's important to them. A lot of people are going to have that go-getter energy, especially after revealing this with that moon there. It's 0 degrees Aries, 13 minutes. Right? Getting focus. Very important focus point, right? The moon is in its first lunar mansion. All righty. So what's that? What's a lunar mansion, Hasan? Okay. You guys want to know what a lunar mansion is real quick. So what does the moon and the lunar mansion mean, guys? And then I'll wrap one up, and I promise I'll come back with Brother Terrell, Tamari Bay. You know, so he has a really, I think, a really rich presentation off of his studies, him being one of many of the Astrology 101 workshop students, as well as my brother, you know. So I just wanted him to just really kind of share some things with you guys, right? Let's look at what the first lunar mansion holds. Let's see that. Maybe a little bit of medical astrology, real briefly, going to share something with you, but let's see what the lunar mansion holds, right? Let's see. Is it up here? Okay, boom. Here we go. Let's go to the first lunar mansion here, guys. All right. So, what's a lunar mansion? Okay, the mansions of the moon, right? Looky, Astro Cookie. So the mansions of the moon, ancient cultures have always looked to the sky as a timekeeping device, just as the sun's motion throughout the zodiac marks changes throughout the year. The moon's motion throughout the night sky marks the changes throughout the month. For this purpose, the moon's own pseudo-zodiac, as they're calling it, pseudo-zodiac, was designed based on her position in relation to notable star groupings These are the 28 lunar mansions, which are 12 degrees, 51 minutes in span. In Vedic astrology, you have 27 nakshatras. Nakshatras are the equivalent of lunar mansions, except you have 27 of them at 13 degrees, 20 minutes each. Whereas here in the tropic astrology, there are 28 lunar mansions at 12 degrees, 51 minutes each. All righty. So these are the 28 lunar mansions, and observances and recordings of the moon through these places appear in several cultures, including the Middle East, India, and China. The lunar mansions are determined by the position pertaining to the moon as she circles the earth, taking her average motion pertaining to 12 degrees, 51 minutes and 26 seconds, and dividing that by 360 degrees of the zodiac. We arrive at 28 distinct positions the moon can occupy in the sky on any given night. The Arabic word for the mansions is manzil, right? Meaning house, quote unquote. And these positions are conceptualized as places where the moon rested for the night. Chinese name for mansions is irshibasya. Irshi is irshibasya. All right, still. Okay, that's kind of like irshibasya. That's kind of how it is. And I think someone called it Cantonese. Someone, maybe people even say it's traditional Chinese. Better illustrates this with the word xie, which means something more like a place one finds lodging for the night, almost like a motel room you would stay in on your way to some other location. As a central timekeeping device, the lunar mansions were popularly used in astrology and magic, with each mansion having its own traits, characteristics, and effects, as well as assigned images, reminiscent of decanic image magic from Egypt, spirits, and suffumigations. You know, Prophet Noble Ali, you know, spoke on it. One of you do magic, stand up, and, you know, I'll kill all of you. However, there is higher degrees to that for those of us that can really get in and know what is being shared and said, because you don't have to call it magic. It's just working nature, utilizing nature. You don't have to spin it. All right, but the first lunar mansion that the moon is finally in is from 0 degrees Aries, 0 minutes to 12 degrees Aries, 51 minutes. All right, the name pertaining to that mansion is Al-Nath, the butting, right? The gore, because goring and butting is the same thing, like head butting. So the butting. Indicator star, probably Sheraton and Mesati, right? Which mark the horns of Aries, hence the name of the mansion. Zodiacal measurement, again, 0 degrees Aries, 0 minutes to 12 degrees Aries, 51 minutes. Electional properties: take medicine, begin a journey, purchase livestock, create discord between individuals, and imprisonment. Not good for marriage, partnerships, or the foundation pertaining to a meaningful friendship or alliance, as one individual usually tries to overpower the other. Talismanic image. It says a black man, right? Look at that. This is why you have to know, if you kind of know, you know, Gayat al-Hakim. Gayat al-Hakim is, you know, Gayat al-Hakim is Picatrix. And that's kind of where this is coming from. Gayat al-Hakim, which is Picatrix. But we already, for those of us that are erudite and know better, but let me read it. A black man with his hair wrapped and encircled. Sounds like a turban. Having in his right hand a spear in the manner of a warrior, in the manner pertaining to a warrior. The talismanic properties pertaining to that talismanic image is good for motivation and completing projects, safety during travel, ending unhealthy relationships, and fucking murder. Right? That's just crazy. That's what that says. So anywho, oh, my bad, guys. I'm sharing this with you, right? And reading it, right? As you're seeing the moon in that lunar mansion. But what I didn't do, right? This is what I didn't do. My apologies. So you guys can see that just real quick, right? Because I read all of that, right? Start the broadcast here and just kind of show real quick where I was reading from so you guys can see. It's an actual book I'm reading, right? Lunar mansions, right? So you guys can see. That's what I read at first, so you didn't think I wasn't reading anything. See, the Arabic word for the mansions is mansil, and in Chinese is is shibasya. You know, shibasya. So shibasya. All right. So for those that I'm working on my Cantonese too already. I know what the accentations that's transliterated here actually are, how that's supposed to be pronounced. All right, so yeah, man, that's what I was just reading there. All right. The spirit is Geniel or Jetties, or Geniel or Jetties. The suffumigation of undersmoking. For those that want to know what suffumigation is, SUF is the prefix for under, sub, suff, sup is all under. Fumigation, for those that know in more Latin, fumar is to smoke. So suffumigation means undersmoking. You've seen undersmoking. If you guys ever seen the vicar, the substitute, called himself Pope, when people come and doing mass, the cardinals, they'll swing that ball and it has smoke coming out of it. That's a suffumigation ball. So the suffumigation for this mansion, what someone will probably smoke, not within themselves, but have burning like sage, possibly liquid styrax. No. The notes for this particular mansion, something of a difficult mansion to get a feel for. Our math has a propensity for duality. On the one hand, many of its properties are beneficial, such as lightning and fire under someone. Lighting a fire under someone to encourage them to begin a project they've been putting off, or for protection during journeys. But it has some pretty nasty utilizations as well, such as ruining relationships and cursing people with imprisonment or death. Literally the example from Picatrix, which is Gayata Lakin. How one approaches working with this mansion will depend heavily on what the goal is. So this is why a lot of people were trying to keep people from reading, because a lot of our ancestors, had this information, had this knowledge, all of that. So you guys see, I have this, I have Black's Law Dictionary, metaphysical book. So I just combine everything, guys. And I don't just read just the basics. You guys see, I have plenty of things. You know what I mean? I even have things that's written in Old English, astrological physician, showing how to find out the cause and nature of a disease according to the secret rules of the art of astrology. Also, general rules and instructions teaching how to discover what part of the body is afflicted. Like, it's stuff like this, man. 1656. Do y'all see that at the bottom? London, printed for George Sawbridge at the Bible on Ludgate. You guys see that, right? Ludgate Hill, 1656. These are the type of things I kind of keep my eyes to, guys. You know what I mean? To the reader, courteous reader. All right. It is not the maliciousness of the present times or the detracting tongues of men in this critical age that shall hinder me. All right? Look at that. 1656, y'all. And I can read a lot of different things, even, Old English, Rune, I practice these things. It's not like I'm fluent, maybe a little more fluent in the Old English I can read. But guys, I don't mess around. They're doing a mess around. Yeah, I really don't. I don't mess around, guys. So it is what it is. This is another one I thought was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. Raphael. Humanity characterized. Alrighty, humanity characterized. Look at you with a purple cover and a zodiac on the front. Raphael. Look, it's in purple. Raphael, because this is Eloah Raphael, right? Looky, Astro Cookie. How awesome is that? University of California, San Diego. Alrighty. Books. Faithfully yours, Raphael. Hey, that's a guy with a fez on and a telescope. Looky, Astro Cookie. How you like those pomegranates? Huh? Yep, that's a fez. That's definitely a fez with a tassel. I'm trying to tell you guys, you can't get away with that one. How much do you want me to zoom in, guys? That's a guy with a fez and a dazzle and a telescope. But it's okay. It's okay, guys. It's okay. I know. It's not popular, and it's people with how I look that this stuff is popular with, but this is what I dedicate. This is what I dedicate my life to. Period. Right? These things are awesome, guys. I know. I'm not popular. I don't talk the Negro black colored stuff. It's okay, guys. You'll get used to me. You'll get used to somebody actually telling the truth. And maybe we can stop crucifying people like me and the rest of my family for centuries and millennia that have come in different bodies to share things. You call us prophets and seers and stuff, and we're really just here just to have the human experience with you. However, we're equipped with knowing some things that are inside of us that we're not this body. This is just another spacesuit for me. According to some, it's my 7th time here. Alrighty, so I'm in my 7th, land conveyance, so to speak. In a spacesuit called the body. All right, speaking of bodies, right? Hey, Encyclopedia of Medical Astrology by Howard Leslie Cornell, right? So, guys, there's just so many ways of just looking at this astrology, and you just thought it was me just looking at that. Guys, I can look at some things about you, and find out some things. Like right now, let's see what's transiting the 6th house. Look how the South node's in the 6th house, right? 23 degrees, 5 minutes retrograde, of course. Then, nodes are usually mostly retrograde, except for about 5 or 6 times out of the year. Sometimes average 2 or 3 times out of the year. You can usually catch it not being retrograde, right? It'll be direct for a few days and then, appear retrograde again, right? Well, they're imaginary points. Right now, a lot of people are, when it comes to, healing, health, and everyday hustle, a lot of people are thinking about their childhood and things that they, inherited from past lives also possibly, or come into this life with, because that's the South Node. The South Node is your comfort zone, your past life, your childhood, all right? So when it comes to the 6th house, your everyday hustle and things like that, people are kind of really having that on their mind, even right now. There may be people that it may be, late or whatever. Some people are studying. Because they want to, bring to life an idea that they had when they were a teenager or an adolescent, so to speak. They were, young. Let me say that. Right? Not quite grown yet, right? So, with Scorpio ruling the 6th house, or, 6th house cusp right now is on Scorpio, right? And it's still there, 29 degrees, Scorpio, 16 minutes. That means Mars there at 25 degrees, Aries retrograde, right, is ruling Scorpio along with Pluto there in Capricorn at 22 degrees, right? Pluto's still retrograde, like I said, until the 4th. At 22 degrees, Capricorn, 29 minutes. So both Pluto and Aries, they're square. All right, there's a separating square between those two. Alrighty, so this unpredictable transformation when it comes to even fated relationships, you know what I mean? And it's dealing with inheritance with the sex organs, right? Because that's what's ruling it. So there's this, there are some people who are really doing their best to, when I share the position of woman, it's like when a woman isn't cared for or whatever with her children, the only known polygamy that is, permissible is in times of war, so to prevent a woman from prostitution, right? Because, a woman's going to care for herself and her babies the best way she can, right? So even thinking about that right now, a lot of people could just be even thinking about, bringing children to the forefront, maybe not necessarily being ready right now. That conversation could be happening somewhere on the planet, not just in this life, right? And speaking on children, Venus is ruling what's happening right now in the world for children, currently on the mundane speaking. Venus there in Leo at 27 degrees, 59 minutes in the 3rd house. So that's why I'm even communicating about children right now. But really, the 3rd and the 6th house are naturally ruled by Mercury. However, right now, Mars and Pluto is ruling the 6th, and Venus is ruling. And the Sun is ruling the 3rd, and the Sun is sitting there in the 4th house, conjunct Vulcan in Libra at 8 degrees, 24 minutes. Right. So what's happening is Venus is bringing to the idea pertaining to children. Venus is really bringing a heartfeltness, so to speak. And especially when dealing with astrology, because in Leo, 25 degrees to 29 degrees is the astrological degrees in Leo. So right now we're really sharing, and you guys are seeing my everyday health practice. The 6th house is health, and I'm sharing that, sharing those values. Values is Venus, and I'm communicating that. That's the 3rd house, right? Conjunct Vesta, right? So just showing you these things, guys. And Venus is opposite Ceres. You know, Ceres is in the 9th, so Ceres deals with grain. And it's so funny how I was communicating the values pertaining to grain earlier about the Ekadashi fast. So I'm just kind of just pointing out some small things here, guys. All right. So going to the Encyclopedia of Medical Astrology just real quick, guys. All right. And thank you for you 3 of you that's still here kicking it with me. All right. When it comes to this, I just wanted to show you real quick, and then I'm gonna yield the floor on this. Why do I really enjoy this, guys? Because we really could heal a lot of ourselves and our loved ones if we just knew something real simple, right? This is Howard Leslie Cornell, right? All right, now I'll go over this in the Astrology 101 Workshop 2020. So you guys want to see how I go in on this, holla at me. I'm very open about the Alamo Denied tuition. It's 135 notes in lieu of lawful money via the Cash App. That's the energy exchange for the energy that I've given. Taking this time and studying and building my libraries, both digital and physical, so that I can be able to share how we're going to solve our social conditions here on planet Earth. All right, and it's going to be through astrology and astrology alone. The astrology and cosmology is the only saving grace. Really, that's why, you guys will see that. You really, really will see that. Look at that. All right. First National University of Naturopathy and Allied Science, 143 Roseville Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. That was February 3rd, 1933. So you're telling me that there were schools that were practicing astrology? Yeah. And people writing about it, co-signing people, doing things. Hey, man, this is the greatest encyclopedia on the medical astrology I've ever seen. All right, cool. This is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. See that right there? I want to talk about this right here, man. It lets you know abbreviations and symbols used in this book and how to look at certain things and how to use them. But you guys see where it says C vertebrae, C vertebrae, C vertebrae, C vertebrae. So one of the first things I thought, I'm like, why is a vertebrae so important? We want to just cut to the chase and show you why. I'm going to look up a term real quick, and I've shared this before in a previous live, but this is what I'm going to end on, and this is why this is important, right? We're going to look up subluxation. All right. And then I'm going to yield the floor, beloveds. And I love you so much. Thank you all for spending your time with me. And guys, you want to get your readings done, remember 443-376-8764. Give me a call or hgbay@sevenhillstar.com. Go to sevenhillstar.com and click the time travel now button. And you can book either one. You can book a mirror session, all righty, or get your archive for the Astrology 101 Workshop 2020. All righty. So with that being said, let's see. Sun, right? Here for that SUB. Dang, I stopped right on it, shorty. Subluxations. Look at that. Looky Astro Cookie. So let me read this to you real quick. So when it comes to people having pain in their body or things like that, or whatever's going on, even mental disabilities and things like that. Like I said, I had the luxury and the honor of meeting Lynn Coiner on February 22nd, 2020 at Baltimore Astrology Society, here near the Baltimore Corporation. So what are subluxations, right? Subluxations is a partial dislocation of the vertebra or a partial subluxation in a joint in any part of the body. So there's a Moorish mother out there you guys are very familiar with, an elder mother. She suffered from macular degeneration. I had suggested that she go to a chiropractor and get her first and second cervical adjusted, because the first cervical, which is the Atlas place, ruled by Aries, deals with your eyes. And the second cervical, which is the axis place, ruled by also Aries, but also Taurus, also deal with the eyes and solving the problem, dealing with macular degeneration. And obviously there was a dislocation of those two, or one of them, and it impinged upon the nerves that deal with the eyes, causing what is known as macular degeneration, as they call it. But, you know, we don't want to really give those things names. We just want to relieve and create and restore the ease. We want to relieve and restore the ease. A partial dislocation of the vertebra on a partial dislocation in a joint in any part of the body. Under the pull and pressure of the planetary vibrations and afflictions, the vertebrae are easily diverted from their normal positions, become partially dislocated, and impinge upon the nerves passing through them, tending to shut off the nerve supply to the various organs and parts of the body, and leading to dis-ease and discomfort in the body. The spine is the central keyboard of the body. Central keyboard pertaining to the body, right? And if the nerve currents to the different parts of the body are to be kept free, open, and unimpeded, the vertebrae must be kept in proper line. Palpation and X-ray examinations discover these deviations, but there are other ways also of knowing when and in what part of the spine these subluxations exist, and that is by astrology, as each vertebra is ruled by a sign of the zodiac, and thus planets in the various signs at birth. That's what that B, capital B period means, if you remember those, you know, abbreviations used in the beginning. And along through life tend to afflict the vertebra or vertebrae ruled by such sign and to cause it to deviate. So those of you brothers out there, because I came across a brother who was dealing with sciatica and thought he had to have prostate surgery, and I told him he needed his fourth and fifth lumbar adjusted in his spine. Fourth and fifth lumbar adjustments will take the impingement or the impinging energy off of the nerves that run to the prostate. So you don't need prostate surgeries, guys. You just need a chiropractor that can really adjust you without screwing you guys over. All right. Thus, these subluxations are coming and going constantly in every human being, and many of the partial dislocations adjust themselves at night during sleep. Some subluxations are more serious and prolonged, and especially the vertebra ruled by the sign in which Saturn is found at birth. And if the Saturn is also afflicting this sign by direction and his position in the zodiac at the time of the chronic illness, and which also may involve and cause a major subluxation. Such subluxations tend to be the major one throughout life and occurs about every 7 years and may endure for 2 years at a time. The Libra sign rules the kidneys, and if Saturn is in Libra at birth, the kidneys become the weakest and most afflicted organs of the body and are subject to severe affliction when Saturn along through life is passing through any of the cardinal signs for a period of 2.5 years to a sign as through Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. But the most severe when Saturn is again passing through the kidney sign in the 28th and 29th year of life, and again in the 56th and 57th and 58th years of life, when Saturn finishes his second cycle and is back in the Libra sign again And considering that he was in Libra at birth, thus we know in what years of life the kidney place, KP in the spine, is under affliction by Saturn. And we know this without palpation or examination of the patient if we have his birth data. Also, the sun in Libra at birth, or Mars, tend to afflict the kidneys and the vertebrae through which the nerves pass to the kidneys. And you can usually set it down that a person born with the sun, Saturn, Mars, Neptune, or any planet in Libra at birth, or with Libra rising upon the eastern horizon, the ascendant, that they are a kidney subject. And that from the standpoint of the vertebrae, the kidney place in the spine should be the first place to be adjusted. This rather lengthy illustration can be applied to any sign of the zodiac. The sun, Saturn, or Mars in the Cancer sign at birth would afflict the stomach, and SP in the spine. So that's the SP place, stomach place. If the sun and malefics are in Gemini, the lungs would be afflicted, and the lung place, that's LU period, P period, that's the lung place. The third dorsal vertebra would be the major subluxation and need constant attention for a time. And during the time the afflicting planet is afflicting the lung vertebrae, the major subluxations tend to be brought on by the major planets as Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Mars, and also the sun, and with several planets afflicting one vertebrae at the same time. The minor subluxations are caused usually by the minor planets, Venus and Mercury, and also by the less severe aspects of the other planets. Every physician, chiropractor, osteopath, and healer who would understand his patient what vertebrae and parts of the body or organs are afflicted should understand astrology and how to erect a star map of birth, and to know the planetary influences that are working over his patient at birth and at the time of illness. The subluxations caused by the slower moving planets are more prolonged. It takes Saturn over 2 years to pass through one sign of the zodiac, and his afflictions pass stronger and tend to a chronic disease, as they call it, disease, right? Mars will pass through one sign usually in about 6 weeks and tend to bring on an acute disease or high fever during this period if the afflicted vertebra is not adjusted frequently. The sun passes through one sign in about 1 month, and his afflictions tend to last for a month by his transits. It takes Uranus 7 years to pass through one sign, and during this period, he may cause frequent subluxations of the vertebra he is afflicting. By knowing these laws, the physician, chiropractor, or healer can have a proper knowledge of what vertebrae are afflicted when they begin to be afflicted, and when to stop giving adjustments. This subject is further discussed in the article on vertebrae, and each of the vertebrae given, the parts and the organs they supply, etc., etc. At the end of the various articles on the diseases throughout this book, the subluxations tending to cause the disease have been listed as an aid to chiropractors who may be using this book. The writer of the encyclopedia is a graduate chiropractor with the degree of D.C., having taken a resident course at the Palmer School of Chiropractic at Davenport, Iowa. Also, later, in recognition of his writings and research work along the lines of chiropractic and the spine, as related to astrology, he was given the honorary degree of Ph.C., right? Yeah, the PhC, right? So that's a chiropractic, a philosopher chiropractic, I guess, by the Mecca College of Chiropractic, located at Mecca College of Chiropractic, located at 143 Roseville Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, of which Dr. Frederick W. Collins, AM, MD, right, is the dean and president. Also, the Mecca College of Chiropractic has had a chair of medical astrology for some years now. Guys, this was 1933, guys. for some years now and instructs its students in the astrological analysis of the spine. See anatomical, cervical, coccyx, compressed dorsal, healers, lumbar, medical astrology, numbness, pressure, ribs, sacrum, spine, vertebrae, fluid, quote unquote, under vital, etc. Alrighty, guys. So you see that this is no joke. Alrighty, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let's stop this share. I'm wrapping this up, guys. That's my extended weather report. Alrighty, so I'm going to download this and share it to a couple of places, guys. Alright, I'm going to just download it. And I think I'll just put it on just every platform. I'm going to throw it on Instagram in the stories, I guess, or whatever. Throw it in the stories, throw it in, I guess, the IGTV, throw it on YouTube, whatever. So you guys can kind of see this one. All right, this is a healing one, so let's kind of get everybody just a little familiar. You guys are here on Facebook. I'm going to post it other places. All right. Hey, there's Brother Musaba. Peace and greetings, beloved brother. Something is going on with the feed. I don't know what's going on with the feed, bro. But it is what it is. I love you all. I'll see. Whatever video I can get, I'll use that video. All righty. I love you all. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love.